Sit back and listen closely, dear friends, as I share with you a story so winding and complex that its very layers seem to mirror the intricate gears of an old engine. A tale of memory, mystery, romance, and the unyielding spirit of a man and his most prized possession. This story is not merely about a car, nor is it simply about the lingering echoes of a long-lost love. It is about the passage of time, the bittersweet pangs of reminiscence, and the turbulent collision between the past and the present. It is the story of Albert, an elderly man whose heart still raced at the thought of days gone by, when his life was bright with love and passion, and of Celia, a spirited young woman whose ambition and desire were as fierce as the wind rushing past a speeding vehicle. And at the center of this tale stood an old car, no ordinary machine, but a rare, exquisite relic that held the power to transform lives and capture memories like no other. Albert's car was a masterpiece of bygone eras, a classic model whose body, though marred by the gentle wear of time, shimmered with a dignified elegance. Every curve, every dent told a story of travels long past, of countless adventures on dusty country roads and sleek highways under the starlight. To Albert, this car was more than just metal and wheels. It was a repository of memories, a silent witness to the laughter of his late wife, Mary Ann, whose smile could light up even the darkest of nights. Mary Ann had been the love of his life, the muse of his every day, and though she had passed on many years ago, her presence lived on in every hum of the engine and every rumble of the exhaust. Albert often sat in the driver's seat and felt as if Mary Ann were still by his side, her gentle touch in the steering wheel and her soft laughter in the breeze that flowed through the cracked windows. It was this car that had been the vessel of his happiest memories, and in many ways, it was all he had left of the love that had once defined his world. Yet fate, as it is wont to do, had more in store for him. One cool autumn afternoon, as the leaves danced whimsically around his modest repair shop, a young woman named Celia arrived. Celia was vibrant, full of youthful energy and an unmistakable gleam of determination in her eyes. With her short, stylish hair and a wardrobe that spoke of modern chic, she was a vision of the future, bold, untamed, and utterly determined to seize the world. But as fate would have it, Celia's ambition was not directed at the world outside, but rather at the old car parked in the corner of Albert's workshop. To her, that car was not a relic of forgotten times, but a rare gem, a symbol of beauty and exclusivity that she longed to possess. For Celia, the car was the epitome of uniqueness, a masterpiece of automotive art that could be restored to its former glory and make her the envy of all her friends. She was willing to do whatever it took to claim it as her own, even if it meant bending the rules of decorum and loyalty. Now, dear friends, let me paint you a picture of the early days of their entangled lives, a time when Celia's intentions seemed as pure as the crisp autumn air, and Albert's heart, though guarded, was slowly beginning to thaw in the warmth of her company. At first, Celia visited the repair shop under the pretext of learning about cars and mechanics, hoping to impress Albert with her knowledge and passion. With every visit, her eyes sparkled a little brighter as she gazed longingly at the old car, and Albert, whose loneliness had been a constant companion since Mary Ann's passing, began to share with her stories of the past. He recounted how he and Mary Ann had met on a rainy night, how the car had been their chariot through endless adventures, and how, even as time wore on, every ride felt like a journey into the heart of a memory. For a while, it seemed as though a delicate romance was budding, one not of lust or superficial attraction, but of shared memories and gentle understanding. Albert found solace in Celia's youthful exuberance, while she, in turn, reveled in the tales of love and loss that echoed through the shop like a melancholy melody. But, as is often the case with matters of the heart, the line between genuine affection and self-serving desires soon blurred. For Celia, beneath the veneer of flirtation and camaraderie, lay a singular, burning obsession. She wanted that car, and nothing else mattered. The more Albert confided in her, the more she became convinced that the car was hers by right of passion and destiny. With a charm that belied her calculating nature, Celia began to devise plans to win the old man's trust and, ultimately, his prized possession. She showered him with compliments, listened intently to every word he spoke about Marianne in the car, and even began to offer her assistance in the repair and restoration projects that Albert so meticulously undertook. Every gesture was designed to melt his defenses, to weave a web of affection so thick that he would be unable to see the truth beneath. And yet, unbeknownst to her, Albert's heart, though still tender with the memory of Marianne, had grown cautious with age. He sensed the undercurrents of Celia's ambition, and while he welcomed the company and the spark of youth, he guarded his treasure with a resolve that had been forged by years of hardship and love lost. As the seasons turned and the crisp chill of winter settled over the town, the dynamics in the repair shop began to shift. Albert, with his quiet wisdom and steadfast devotion to Marianne's memory, started noticing little things. A furtive glance when Celia thought he wasn't looking, a hushed conversation with one of her friends when the topic of the car arose. The atmosphere, once filled with the comforting hum of a bygone era, now crackled with tension, like the static before a storm. Yet, Celia, ever the strategist, adapted her tactics. She began to invite Albert on long drives in the car, urging him to take her along for a ride down memory lane. With each journey, the open road became their confessional, a place where stories flowed as freely as the wind through the hair and the promise of redemption glimmered on the horizon. One crisp evening, as twilight surrendered to the approaching night, Albert found himself behind the wheel with Celia riding shotgun, a soft melody of nostalgia filling the air. The road stretched out before them like an uncharted map, each turn a reminder of days gone by. As they drove, Albert recounted the day he had first laid eyes on Marianne, a day when the world had seemed to shimmer with possibilities, when every moment was a burst of color in an otherwise monochrome existence. Celia listened intently, her heart racing not just from the thrill of the ride, but from the realization that she was drawing ever closer to the treasure she coveted. The car, with its aged leather seats and softly humming engine, was more than a mere vehicle. It was a repository of passion, a sanctuary of memories, and to Celia, it was the embodiment of something worth more than gold. But as the night deepened and the conversation turned to secrets too tender to speak aloud, a subtle shift occurred. What had started as a gentle romance began to morph into a dangerous liaison, a dance of words and glances that hinted at a deeper, more perilous game. Celia's true intentions, once cloaked in the guise of youthful infatuation, emerged from the shadows. She began to speak of dreams that were as audacious as they were alluring, dreams of owning the car outright, of restoring it to a state of glory that would honor its storied past and secure its future as a priceless heirloom. Her words, laced with ambition and a hint of desperation, hung in the air like a delicate promise. Albert, whose heart was a fragile mosaic of love and loss, felt the tug of these words, yet a cold caution settled in his bones. He knew that some treasures were not meant to be claimed by those who desired them most fervently, and that sometimes love's purest form was to let go rather than to hold on too tightly. The tension reached its zenith on a stormy night, when the heavens unleashed their fury upon the quiet town. Rain battered the windows of the repair shop, and thunder rumbled in the distance like an ominous drumbeat. Inside the sanctum of memories, the old car sat proudly in its berth, a silent guardian of secrets and dreams. That evening, Celia arrived at the shop with a look of resolute determination, her eyes alight with a fire that was both beautiful and unnerving. She proposed a grand restoration project, a vision that would not only bring the car back to life, but would transform it into a modern marvel that seamlessly fused the elegance of the past with the promise of the future. Albert, who had spent countless nights nurturing the car's legacy, listened with a heavy heart. He saw in her proposal a reflection of his own yearning for renewal, a chance to honor Marianne's memory by ensuring that the car continued to shine as a beacon of love and adventure. Yet, Deep down, he sensed that Celia's motivations ran far deeper than mere admiration or artistic expression. There was a hunger in her eyes, a subtle glint of ambition that spoke of a desire to claim something that belonged to another era. In the weeks that followed, as the restoration work progressed and the car slowly regained its luster, a series of strange events began to unfold. Mysterious phone calls in the dead of night, inexplicable shadows flitting across the workshop floor, and cryptic messages left on the car's dashboard. The once familiar haven of oil and steel transformed into a stage for a mystery that defied explanation. One foggy morning, when the air was thick with the scent of wet earth and the promise of revelations, Albert discovered that crucial parts of the car had vanished. Components that were irreplaceable, treasured relics of its storied past. His heart sank as he realized that someone or something was determined to steal not just the car, but the very soul of its legacy. The investigation that followed was a labyrinth of suspense and intrigue. Albert, though advanced in age, took it upon himself to unravel the mystery behind these thefts. With the assistance of a few loyal friends and colleagues who had worked alongside him in the repair shop for years, he embarked on a quest that would test his resolve and force him to confront long-buried memories. The deeper he delved, the more the threads of the mystery began to intertwine with the complexities of his own past. It turned out that the car had once been the centerpiece of an elaborate heist, a daring, unsolved mystery from decades earlier that had left scars on the very fabric of the community. Rumors swirled that the car had been targeted by a notorious gang of collectors, men and women who coveted rare automobiles as symbols of power and prestige. Some even whispered that the car, imbued with the lingering essence of Marianne's love, held secrets that could unravel the fortunes of those who sought to exploit its beauty. As Albert pieced together the clues, a discarded wrench here, a cryptic note there, he began to suspect that Celia's interest in the car was not entirely innocent. There were moments when her eyes, usually bright with youthful enthusiasm, seemed to darken with a secret purpose, as if she were playing a dangerous game with the forces of fate. At a pivotal moment on one stormy evening, as the winds howled like lost souls and rain pounded against the workshop windows, Celia confronted Albert with a confession that sent shivers down his spine. In a voice trembling with a mixture of regret and determination, she revealed that her desire for the car was born not out of mere aesthetic appreciation, but from a personal vendetta, a long-held grudge against a family that had once wronged her own. The car, with its illustrious past and the legacy of Marianne's gentle grace, was to her a symbol of everything she had lost and everything she now sought to reclaim. It was a relic that represented both the beauty and the cruelty of fate, and in her mind, possessing it would finally vindicate her. Albert listened in silence, his heart heavy with sorrow and understanding. Though he had sensed something amiss in her intentions, he had hoped that the bond they shared, rooted in the genuine warmth of human connection, would prevail over the corrosive pull of revenge. In that charged moment, as the thunder crashed overhead and the workshop seemed to hold its breath, Albert made a decision that would alter the course of events irrevocably. With a resolute calm that belied the turmoil within, he vowed to protect the car, not merely as a machine, but as a living testament to the enduring power of love and memory. He would not allow its legacy to be tarnished by the machinations of greed or the bitterness of old grudges. And so, a silent war began, a battle of wits and wills between an old man with a heart full of memories and a young woman driven by a fire that burned too brightly. As days turned into weeks and the tension in the repair shop reached a fever pitch, strange happenings continued to unsettle the calm facade of the sanctuary. Late at night, when the world was cloaked in darkness and the only sound was the distant hum of the city, Albert would hear faint whispers echoing through the empty corridors of the workshop, a spectral reminder that the past was never truly gone. Celia, too, found herself haunted by visions of Marianne, as if the ghost of the old love were warning her of the perils of tampering with destiny. Friends and bystanders began to notice the change in the air, a palpable sense of foreboding that mingled with the scent of oil and rust. The car, now slowly emerging from its battered shell, shone with an almost ethereal glow, as if it were imbued with the very essence of love and loss. In a climactic confrontation on a moonlit night that seemed to freeze time itself, Celia and her cohorts made one final, desperate attempt to seize the car. Under the cover of darkness, they descended upon the workshop like a band of marauders, intent on claiming the prized possession for themselves. What ensued was a tumultuous clash of wills, a swirling storm of passion, betrayal, and adrenaline-fueled action. Albert, armed with nothing more than his determination and the wisdom of a lifetime, faced off against the intruders in a battle that defied the ravages of age. The sound of shattering glass, clanging metal, and anguished cries filled the night as the old man fought to protect not only the car but the memories it held dear. In that chaotic melee, as sparks flew and destinies collided, a truth emerged that would forever change the lives of everyone involved. When the dust finally settled and the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, it was clear that the old car had been saved from those who sought to exploit its rare beauty. Celia, her ambitions thwarted and her schemes laid bare, found herself at a crossroads, forced to reckon with the consequences of her actions. In the quiet aftermath of the tumult, as she watched the battered remains of her dreams dissolve into the light of a new day, she began to understand a profound lesson about the nature of love, respect, and the sacredness of memories. Her friends, too, who had been swept up in her fervor, learned that some treasures are not meant to be possessed, but rather to be cherished, to be preserved for the sake of history and the honor of those who came before. Albert, though battered and bruised, stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the silent gaze of that old car, he saw not just the ghost of Mary Ann, but the reflection of every moment of joy, sorrow, and triumph that had defined his life. The car, with its time-worn body and soulful engine, had become a living chronicle of love's enduring power, a reminder that some things, once loved, can never truly be taken away. And as the days turned into months, the legend of that night and the miraculous survival of the car spread throughout the community like a fable, a story told around campfires and in hushed tones at local cafes, a narrative that blended suspense, romance, and mystery into a tapestry as intricate as the gears that powered the beloved machine. In the years that followed, Celia underwent a transformation, a slow, painful metamorphosis from a woman consumed by ambition and revenge to one who learned the value of genuine connection and the beauty of letting go. Her heart, once hardened by the pursuit of a material prize, softened under the gentle influence of those who reminded her of the simple joys of life. A shared laugh, a quiet walk under the stars, and the healing power of forgiveness. And while she never forgot the lessons learned on that stormy night, she eventually came to see that the car, much like love itself, was not something to be hoarded or exploited, but something to be revered as a living testament to the passage of time. Albert continued to care for his treasured car, maintaining it with the same tender devotion he had always shown. Each scratch and dent was a memento of a journey taken, each creak of the engine a whisper from a long-ago day when love was a force that could move mountains. And in the soft glow of twilight, when the world was hushed and memories stirred like echoes in the wind, he would often be found sitting in the driver's seat, a gentle smile playing on his lips as he recalled the laughter and tears of a lifetime. For in that old car, every moment was a story, every ride a pilgrimage to a time when the heart was unburdened by regret and the future shimmered with the promise of endless possibility. So listen well, dear friends, to this timeless tale, a story of an old car, a keeper of memories, and the lives that intertwined with it. It is a story that speaks to the eternal dance between the past and the present, between the echoes of lost love and the stirring call of new beginnings. It is a story that reminds us that while the hands of time may weather even the strongest steel, the heart's true treasures, love, memory, and honor, are eternal. And in the end, it is not the grandeur of youth or the allure of ambition that defines our legacy, but the quiet resilience with which we guard the things we hold dear, even in the face of a world that seeks to tear them away. May you carry this story in your heart as you journey through your own winding roads, and may it remind you that every twist and turn, every shadow and ray of light, is but a chapter in the grand, unending saga of life. A saga that, like the engine of an old, cherished car, continues to beat with the rhythm of love, memory, and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to dream.